Okay, we are back on our regular schedule. We were actually able to get up before Shabbat. All right, so you are on, if you're tuning in, the Her Royal Roots YouTube channel. And today we are in 2 Samuel chapter 21 and 22. And we're going to be looking at friends, famine, and first fruits. I think it's interesting how everything kind of aligned. And I'll kind of get into a little later what I think Yah is doing with the alignment of everything we're learning right now with the harvest time and the feasting schedule. I don't think it could be more perfect. I look back over months and how we had breaks in between time and how life happens, and the lessons weren't like as consistent every week, but everything's happening in Yah's time. Like, we're literally aligned in a particular chapter that's going to deal with so much of what we're experiencing right now as a nation, and what we're experiencing within our feast days and the practice and the observance of our feast days. And I'm not ignorant to the fact that we all observe on different schedules, but the principles that we are learning right now apply all the way across the board, because that's how the word works. And it is my heart's desire and prayer that through some of the work we're doing here at Royal Roots and in other places, that we can come to a consensus and experience all of what's happening during the feast day echad as one unit, so that all of these lessons apply in real time to each of us, and they're not applying a month on this end or a month on that end, or however. So I just wanted to put that out there, because I know people are listening at different times. It's like, well, this doesn't apply to me because I'm keeping Passover next month, or I kept it last month. But all scripture is good for instruction and reproof. And so with no further ado, let's kind of just give a little recap a little bit. So where are we? Where are we in our text? Where are we in our studies? We are currently in 2 Samuel chapter 21. And we saw the restoration and discord being, diminished and smashed out of our nation. In the previous chapters, we see King David come back and the people trying to get back on one accord. And we're learning that there are elements and levels to oneness. There are elements and levels to our restoration. And it begins with more than just a verbal proclamation of agreement with Yahuwah, but walking out and learning and being gathered together and working through things. And that has been the major theme over the last few months, not only just in the teaching, but here in our space and on this channel, really trying to work toward oneness. So much disjointedness and, disassembly and fracturing within the nation. And while it may benefit people for us to be disjointed and fractured, it is not the heart of Yah. And so our focus here is to bring us back together as one. And what better way, right, than through the word, than to travel through the word and to look at our ancestors and the culture that is laid out in scripture, and draw out those nuggets, draw them out and hold them in our hand, and look at what was left for us. We always talk about what was taken from us as a people, but there's such a wealth of information left for us if we would only take out the time and dig and look and search for them. And I'll tell you this, it's not really much of a search. It's kind of right there on the surface. It's just the condition of our heart and the focus of our mind, and what we're willing to receive and what we're ready to yield to Yah, and what we're ready to give to him in order for him to do the work of transformation. All right, so friends, famine, first fruits. We're going to start off like we always do. We're going to share. I'm going to read probably the first maybe 4 verses, maybe 2 verses, before I give you kind of the intro of where I want our minds to be set. And then Yah's going to do the rest. As I was going through the last part of this lesson, just bring it all together, literally brought me to tears. And I'm really trying to hold it together just to get to that part, because we're living in some very interesting times. And while I don't know what that looks like, no man knows the time of the hour when Abba Yah is going to do what he's going to do. Today's lesson hit me like a ton of bricks. And I'm hoping that Yah allows me to convey it to you the way it was conveyed to me in my spirit as I was going through it. And I hope we're all moved in the same way. And we all arrive at the same end. That's unity and that's oneness, right? All right, let's open up. We're in 2 Samuel chapter 21. 2 Samuel chapter 21. I know the question will come up, so I'll mention it. The program that I'm using is Logos Bible Software. And I am using the regular King James version that they offer in the Lexham, with the Lexham version. And then there's a Lexham Hebrew version that is directly underneath it. So it's King James version with your Strongs. There's also, sometimes I run a Lexham English version, and then the Lexham Hebrew is beneath it. So just to give you guys that. All right, let's start here, verse 21. Then there was a famine in the days of David, 3 years, year after year. And David inquired of Yahuwah, and Yahuwah answered, "It is for Saul and for his bloody house, because he slew the Gibeonites." I can't even get past like the literally the third, fourth word, because that's where we're sitting. So if you wonder why I put friendship, famine, and first fruits, it's right there. All right, there is a famine in the land. The Hebrew word here for famine, and I'm going to click it, and it pulls up the Enhanced Brown Drivers Briggs Hebrew and English lexicon. And the word we have here is ra'av. Ra'av is the Hebrew word for famine or for hunger. Okay, so we have these highs that are happening. David's coming back. The people are getting back together. And then all of a sudden, there's a famine in the land. It's like, and then it's year after year. So that means consecutively for 3 years, there's famine and hunger in the territory of the children of Israel. This word ra'av comes from a 2-letter root. So when I say 2-letter root, I'm talking about the first and second letter most of the time. And it's rav. Rav means man watches. It's a head person first, and ayin is eye to see experience. Okay. So it is the head of a man, or the head within the eyes of a man watching something. In the Hebraic culture, the shepherd closely watches over the flock. The removal of food, right? So if you're watching over a flock, the leading to food or the removal of food is a huge process. We have a small flock here, and it's interesting because their first association with us is food. She's food, meaning she brings the food. And then our second association is nurture. But really the first one is definitely primal. It is the one who cares for, or the one who stops the hunger, right? Keeps them from being in famine. And because of that relationship between the shepherdess and on our spot, or the shepherd, and the flock, it creates what we call a friendship. Hebrew word for friend is also resh ayin. And it's the idea that the relationship is created based upon a mutual exchange of something that the other party needs, right? Okay, so when it comes to the shepherd is closely watching the flock, and the shepherd's removal of food causes the animal, or the giving of food causes an immediate reaction or change in the animal's behavior. So on our property, when you walk out, the goats can see you. And they see you, and then they go, nah, and they just start going like insane. And most of the time it's because they're hungry, or they want you to throw something in, or they might just want you to come by. But most of the time it's for food. So your presence as a shepherd or shepherdess causes a reaction of the sheep. And so it's mainly based around food, the removal or the change of their diet. This is why the attention of an animal can be grabbed with food, or they can be trained by withholding or giving of food. All right. Ra, as when it comes to a friend, also follows this same function. This word has a dual function. We train our friendships or our relationships by how we feed our relationships. If we starve the friendship, right, we withhold something, it can either grab the attention of the person or create an enemy. When we don't uphold our side of the deal, we cause calamity. Yah could not continue to bless Israel and make them one when they were mishandling their covenants and their friends. This is a certain type of fury, in a sense, that happens when one who is wronged has to sit back and watch a blessing on a person who has cursed or caused undue hardship or calamity, even if it was zealous. In the text, we see, if we go back, that there is a famine and it's occurring year after year. And when David inquires of Yah, Yah answers and said, it is because of Saul and because of his bloody house. He didn't have to go any further because then Yah said, because he slew the Gibeonites. Now, this could totally be flyover country if you don't know who the Gibeonites are. And if you don't know what's happening, you're like, wait, Saul killed somebody and now Yah is mad? No. It's much more than just somebody being upset because somebody did something. See, the Gibeonites are within the territory of Israel. We're going to go back and look at the story in Joshua 9. And a covenant was made between the children of Israel and the Gibeonites. And although they are from the remnant of the Amorites, there was a covenant made and they had to uphold that. Yah wants to bless Israel. Yah wants to make them one. But see, they got loose ends and they got issues with people and with each other. He said, I can't bless you. I can't make you what I want you to be when you have broken covenants and discord and there's too much mess. And if I do that, then it makes me look unjust and it causes fury in the nations on the other side, and it'll cause discord, and then they're going to come fight you and it puts you back in war, and then we're right back in the same place. I'm trying to bring shalom and shalom. There has to be restitution before there can be peace. The first is restitution with me. And then, of course, following that is restitution with one another, those you make covenants with, those you go into contract with. It is important that you uphold that. And so Yah is not going to hold them guiltless. And then Yah allows a famine in the land for 3 years until finally they're like, hey, something is wrong. Like, we not fighting. We good. Like, king is back in his place. What? And they, you're racking your brain about what is going on. And Yah's like, remember Saul? Remember Gibeon? Yeah, that ain't right. And we can't ignore those promptings. It's so interesting where when Yah speaks, if it doesn't speak to us condemning someone else, all of a sudden we can't seem to get it together. When Yah speaks to us and causes us a little discomfort, we're like, who did something? And we never go, did we do something? And so David then inquires of Yah. See, David here, we see old David pop back up. And this brings me joy and sadness, this text, because the David, I shouldn't even say old David, the David that was always there, he just went through some stuff. And this is the first time in a long time that we hear the words, and David inquired of Yahuwah. This is a big deal. It's huge. Went through some things, had to go through some things. And David inquires of Yah. David learned a lesson about festering sin. His lesson, his trial with his family made him a better leader, not a worse leader, but a better leader for Israel. So he saw something's wrong, something's festering. And instead of pushing it to the side and letting time heal all things, David takes an active approach. And that active approach is to go to the feet of Yahuwah. David saw what happens when we sit silent and allow time to work things out. It doesn't. Whoever said time heals all things wasn't in Torah. The time allows things to fester and causes sickness and disease. We need to get right on it. Early detection is how we rid cancer out of the body of Hamashiach. Late detection is destruction. This time we have David, the David who inquires of Yah, and the David who had to go through some things. But we see that Yah is always seeking to bring us back to this place where when we do, he is at the forefront of our minds. And it said that David answered and he said, it is for Saul and for his bloody house because of the Gibeonites. So who is the Gibeonites? Who are they? What happened? Let's look at it. I know you guys are like, oh, I'm just going to read the Bible again. Yes, we have to. We have to read the Bible over and over again. It's how we solidify these stories. I've actually read this story before in another portion, but we're going to read it again. All right. And it came to pass, Joshua chapter 9, and it came to pass when all the kings which were on this side Jordan, in the hills and in the valleys and in the coast of the great sea, over against Lebanon, the Hittite and the Amorite and the Canaanite and the Perizzite and the Hivite and the Jebusite heard thereof, that they gathered themselves together to fight with Yehoshua or Joshua and with Israel with one accord. They on one page. And when the inhabitants of Gibeon heard that what Joshua had done unto Jericho, into Ai, they did work willily. And they went and made as if they were ambassadors, and took old sackcloths upon their asses, and wine bottles, and old and rent and bound up, and old shoes, and clouded upon their feet, and old garments upon them. And all the bread of their provision was dry and moldy. And they went to Joshua upon the camp at Gilgal, and said unto him and to the men of Israel, we be come from a far country. Now, therefore, make ye a league with us. And how shall, and the men of Israel said to the Hivites, peradventure ye dwell among us. And how shall we make a league with you? And they said unto Joshua, we are thy servants. So they're like, hey, how you gonna live with us? You got us. He's like, hey, don't even trip. We're not asking for nothing. We'll be your servants. And Joshua said unto them, who are you? And where you come from? And they said to him, we're from a far country. Your servants, we come because of the name of Yah. We heard. Now they're not lying, because they heard. They said they heard thereof. And we have heard the fame of him and all that he did in Egypt, and all that he did to the kings of the Amorites and those that were, beyond Jordan, to Sihon, king of Heshbon, Og of Bashan, and which was at Ashtaroth. You start throwing out names like, look, we didn't heard. We know y'all don't do Ashtaroth. We know y'all done got Shion and Og. We got the story down. He said, so our elders and all the inhabitants of our country said to us, they said, hey, take some provisions, go on a journey and meet them. And when you see them, say unto them, we are your servants. Therefore now make a covenant with us. And he said, and this our bread we took hot for our provision. He said, we know how y'all do. Remember, you left fast and you made the bread for the flat bread, and you made it and you didn't have time to see this bread used to be good bread. But as we went on our journey, it became dry and it's moldy. And our wine bottles, you see they look old, even though we know it told us in the story that they made old bottles. But we see these bottles, they were filled. They had wine in them and everything. He said, but look, they all raggedy now. And these clothes that we have on, these were nice clothes when we first put them on. And our shoes, our shoes, look at them. They old. It's our long journey. They started peeling them. The Israelites, like, man, I remember when we was walking in the desert in our shoes didn't wear out though. So, and our clothes didn't get raggedy, but we know how it feels. And in the back of their heads, the Israelites are like, oh man, that part of Torah where it was like, if somebody seeks to sojourn with you and they come and they talk about having heard about it, like conflicted, like, man, I don't know where these people come from. Like, we've been off through the desert. I don't know if we saw y'all before, but and their story sounds very, very similar to ours. And they took it on their heartstrings. And the men took of their, provision, their victuals, and asked not counsel of the mouth of Yah. See, that's where we went wrong. Got pulled on our heartstrings. We invite people in and we embrace them because their story is similar to ours. We get these trauma bonds as a people. I get over that. And we're like, oh man, I remember when I didn't have nothing, and come live in my house. Come hang out with me. But you didn't ask counsel of the mouth of Yah. And Joshua made peace with them. He's like, shalom. And made a league with them to let them live. And the princes of the congregation swear unto them. Yeah, I was like, did not tell you not to swear. You don't do it. Let your yeas be yeas and your nays be nays. But you made a covenant. You made peace with them and you swore. You entered into a contractual covenant with these people. And it came to pass, verse 16, at the end of 3 days after they made a league with them, that they heard that they were their neighbors. So I was like, I saw him. We was drawing water like 6 months ago. And hey, bro, with the one streak of gray in his beard, I saw him before. That dude looks familiar. Hebrews, we don't forget faces. And they said, hey, they live among us. They're not from afar off. And I saw them hop over the hill yesterday and go talk to the auntie. They know people around here. They're not strangers. And the children of Israel journeyed. So they went over. It was like, oh, okay, come back. And came into their cities. Like, we found, you got cities here. You already, 3 days and you already got a whole village. How? Now their cities were Gibeon and Hephorah and Beroth and Kirjath Jearim. And the children of Israel smote them not, because the princes of the congregation had sworn unto them by Yahuwah of Israel. So now you put Yah's name on it. And all the congregation murmured against the prince. Like, hey, he's always doing something. And you join with these people, and then you brought them in here, and then they acting like this. And now, but all the princes said unto the congregation, we swore unto them by Yahuwah of Israel. Now, if we touch them, how's this gonna look? Said, okay, this is what we gonna do. Once again, they're making all the rules up themselves. We're gonna let them live, because we don't want the wrath upon us, because of the oath which we swear unto them. Words are powerful. You make your word is bond, right? And the princes said unto them, let them live, but do as they say. Let them be hewers of wood and drawers of water unto all the congregation. Now they'll serve y'all too. They're like, oh, serve us. Oh, we like that. Okay. And as the princes had promised them, and Joshua called for them, he spake to them. He said, man, why did you trick us, saying, we're from a far country, when you dwelled among us? Like, what is that all about? Now, he said, you're cursed, and none of you shall be freed from being bondmen. You're stuck. You're bound, right? It's not like cursed. It's like you're bound to us now. Like, you made a decision, and we bound ourselves to you. You stuck with us. So you right, wrong, indifferent, gotta rock with us. You one of us now. It's not this idea of curse like a vexing. No, you're bound. This is binding. Like we went into covenant. We went through the process of covenant to join with you. You can't be free. So you're bondmen, and you're gonna be hewers of wood and drawers of water for the house of my Elohim. He's mine. Y'all trying to, he's right. And Joshua answered and said, because it was certainly told your servants how Yahuwah had commanded his servant Moses to give you all the land and to destroy all the inhabitants before you. Therefore, we are sore afraid. So they're saying, this is why we did it. We know what Yah said he was going to do with you. So, I mean, we had to get in. And we were scared. We heard about Moses. We heard about everything that happened. And we thought y'all was going to kill us. And we did this thing. And now, behold, we're in your hand. As it seems right to you, do unto us. They already know Hebrews operate on a higher level, and when it came to righteousness, like, so he's like, so do what you're going to do to us. They heard it all. They didn't just hear the war and the destruction, but they also heard about how they brought in the stranger and the sojourner that wanted to join with them. And so did he unto them, and delivered them out of the hand of the children of Israel, that they slew them not. And Joshua made them that day hewers of wood and drawers of water for the congregation and for the altar of Yahuwah, even unto this day, in the place which he should choose. There go your Gibeonites. So then the issue is, if Joshua wouldn't let anybody kill him then, when things were good, you don't do this like weird thing that Hebrews do, right? Where all of a sudden, because you're mad, because you got a problem, all of a sudden the covenant doesn't matter anymore. All of a sudden your words don't matter anymore. No, the thing they're being held accountable for was something that Joshua did. They can be like, man, we wasn't there when Joshua made that covenant. We don't want them in here. Didn't stand up with Yah. Yah was like, if one of y'all said it, all y'all got to do it. So that's why we don't just speak flippantly, and we don't just make decisions for everybody, right? He said, y'all swore that you weren't going to kill him. And then Saul in his zeal killed him. And now there's famine in the land. One thing after another. We're going to learn one day, at some point, at some time, that we're one people, one nation. Ain't like y'all over here can do this, and y'all got a different moray over here, and so y'all can do this on this day, and y'all can have this kind of stuff happen in your fellowship. Y'all was like, yeah, one monkey does stop this show. Okay, so this whole like what y'all doing over there, that's just them, that's just their fellowship. We better get it together. If we don't agree about something, we better figure it out, because right now it's dry in these streets. It's really, really dry. It's really, really dry. So why a famine, right? We're gonna get into the text. I'm gonna take a break, but why a famine? Why a famine? Because a famine gets your attention. You hit the button on there. A famine gets your attention. So when there is a famine in the land, you have the issue of lack. We think that lack is just based upon, it's unplugged. It's not all the way in. We think that the famine is a issue of just plain disobedience and disenfranchisement because of what most people say, because the white people, they came along and did X, Y, and Z. And we never take into account that really the reason why Israel is not experiencing the full blessing of being echad with Yah and echad with one another is because we got stuff happening with covenants that we done made with people right within the house. It's not the lack of covenant, right? It's because of we have too many covenants that we're not upholding. We got covenants in our household, in our marriages, in our family, with our friends, with our children, that we have just allowed to fall by the wayside. See, right now, the famine is interesting because everybody's fat. Everybody's all overweight, right? Everybody's all big and everybody got big houses and we got new cars and we're driving around. We got cattle and we got clothes and we got jewelry. How can you not tell me I'm blessed? Isn't that the same thing our ancestors said when they were worshiping the Queen of Heaven? But anyways, everybody's eating, right? Y'all got YouTube. Y'all got more Hebrew teachers and preachers than you could ever ask for. You got more lexicons, more Bibles, more Hebrew classes. Everybody eating, but we still hungry. Delusional eating air sandwiches and convincing ourselves that we are being fed. We do this because we don't want to face the reality that there is no food being produced in the nation. Wait, you waiting 3 years to figure out it's a famine? First time the harvest season come around and then it's a little lighter than last year, you panic. And then the next time it came around, like, extreme uncomfortability, panic. It took 3 years. Why? You know why? They had too much. The storehouse was too full. So lean year, go get the old grain. Go get the old stuff. We'll just keep eating that if we don't have nothing. But then when the storehouse run out and you look like, and you start waiting for that crop to come and your children's bellies start rumbling. See, right now, I believe as a nation, we're riding on the wave of the first part of the awakening. It's a high. Oh, Shabbat this, and oh, Passover this, and oh, big feast day this. And 2020 brought a hard halt to that. Because y'all was riding on the wave of the awakening. And you was riding on that feeling full is like caffeine, right? You're hungry, but you drink a little bit, so it kind of curbs your appetite. That high of the awakening curbed your appetite. And you didn't really dig into the word like you're supposed to. And now everybody's panicking. Because now you see all these crazy teachers and all this crazy doctrine happening, and you don't know what to do with it. And it's inedible. But you're looking at the storehouse and you're like, dang it, that's empty. I have to do something now. I don't know how to plant a seed. I don't know how to read my word. I don't know how to study the Bible. I don't know how to look up something in Hebrew. I don't know if I'm being deceived. And the last days is full of deception. What do? I'm going to cry by the time this is up. I know I am. It's a famine when it's harvest time and there's no offering. It's a famine when you've sown seeds and there is no increase. It's a famine when we read the word and there's no fruit in the nation, just strange fruit, sour grapes, and the children's teeth set on edge. We're in a famine of the word. Much seed is available. Much word is being taught, but there is no fruit to show the healing and the redemption of a nation. Let's go to Amos chapter 8, because I'm not making it up. There's an interesting thing that happened. Y'all showed me. He said, everybody wants to be a prophetess. You don't need to be. Uncover the word. That's your job as a prophet. He gave you your prophets. They're going to say it better than I can say it. I'm not saying something. I'm not making up something. I couldn't have made this up if I wanted to. I couldn't have made up the fact that in Amos 8, we are in Pesach. We're in the season of summer fruit. I couldn't have made that up if I wanted to. And I was just going to drop in and just give you Amos 8 and 11. And y'all was like, no, whole thing. So bear with me as I convey to you what was conveyed to me. Thus hath Yahuwah showed unto me, and behold, a basket of summer fruit. And he said, Amos, what seest thou? I don't know why, but Z, if you're watching, I thought about you with this because this would have been her answer, right? He said, behold, a basket of summer fruit. And he said unto Amos, what seest thou? And I said, a basket of summer fruit. It's right there on the surface. He wasn't asking for no extra interpretation. Tell me what you see, right? And then I'm going to tell you what you need to see. Then said Yahuwah unto me, the end has come upon my people of Israel, and I will not again pass by them anymore. That's Pesach. I'm not passing over again. And the songs of the temple shall be howlings in that day, saith Yahuwah Elohim. And there shall be many dead bodies in every place that shall cast them forth with silence. Hear this, O ye that swallow up the needy, even to make the poor of the land to fail, saying, when will the new moon be that we can sell corn? Like when it's going to be over? Like when is Shabbat over? We don't even need the moon. Like how can I get back to my regular? And the Sabbath that we may set forth wheat. Like you just do it when is the feast so I can get dressed up? And when is the feast so we can go travel and see other Hebrews? And he's like swallowed up. He said, making the ephah small and a shekel great. Y'all done made the sacrifice of none effect. And the money you line your pockets with, what it's all about. How can I bring your money into the storehouse and you made the ephah small? That's the real food. And falsifying the balances by deceit, that we may buy the poor. See, y'all buying the people. You're giving them something that y'all's not giving them right now. Y'all's not giving them fancy feast days right now. Y'all did COVID. Y'all said, sat down somewhere and get in my word. That's what y'all did. But you like, it's a time of prosperity. We will resist these ordinances and we're going to do it anyways. And we're going to tell you what you should learn. And y'all's like, I said, sit down because I need you to read because these people have lost their darn minds. My people, not the ones worshiping Baal and Ashtaroth out here. They've been crazy. My people in Israel have flipped their cookies and they hungry. And so hungry, deceitful people do what hungry, deceitful people do. I need your money so I can go buy me some food. And I don't care if you starve. He said that we may buy the poor for silver and the needy for a pair of shoes. He said, that's us, Israel. Y'all's telling us how we are. We don't like it. Person can buy you for a pair of shoes. They can buy you for a seat at a table. They can keep you out of your word for a t-shirt, for showing up to a feast day. Yo, you mad at them? It's okay. Oh, y'all went there last year. It's going to be better here this year. We're going to have custom Hebrew shoes now. You're like, oh, okay. What are you guys giving out? Okay, I'm going over there. Oh, what are you guys talking about? Okay. And you're just like, you're childish. You can buy the poor for silver. Oh, I'm putting a little money in your pocket. You come teach a little lesson. Okay, I'm going over here. I'm getting paid. Yea, and sell the refuse of the wheat. And then you give them the leftover. You don't even give them the good food because you ain't studied nothing. You give them what's left over. Something you done stole from somebody else or something you got somewhere else. Old food, old bread. Oh, we can eat that. Yeah, go ahead and eat that old stale bread that you've been saving in your house. Just put it in a bucket and shove it under the counter. That's fine. Do whatever you want to do. Y'all's okay with it. BS. I'm going to call it on that one. Verse 7. Yahweh has sworn by the excellency of Jacob, surely I will not forget any of their works. Shall not the land tremble for this, and everyone mourn that dwelleth therein? And it shall rise up wholly as a flood, and it shall be cast out and drowned as by the flood of Egypt. See, Passover. I wasn't making it up. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahuwah, that I will cause the sun to go down at noon, and I will darken the earth in the clear day. And I will turn your feast into mourning. Y'all over here dancing and hopping around, and you in the land of your captivity. Be ashamed. Be ashamed. Be ashamed. I'm not saying you just be sad all the time, but you're trying to circumvent the fact that all of your songs are going to be turned into lamentations. And I will bring up sackcloth upon all loins and baldness upon every head. And I will make it as the mourning of an only son. Also, we trying to change up how this is really supposed to be. And the end thereof as a bitter day. Behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that I will send a famine in the land. Not a famine of bread, right? Passover again. He's bringing these parallels in. No, not matzah. No. Y'all ain't learned from matzah. Nor a thirst for water. Nope, you're gonna have water and you're gonna have bread. But of hearing of the words of Yahuwah. Person's like, how, Sway? How, HD? How is it gonna be a famine of the word when all I hear is the word? Every time I click on a channel, somebody 55,000 in a chat. What you mean a famine of the word? And nobody's saying nothing. Empty. Famine, where you go to shake the sheave and no grain comes out. It's just chaff. A famine of hearing the words of Yahuwah. Y'all hearing a lot of words, but they're not the words of Yah. Everybody has a lot to say. So you think you're hearing words, you're like, man, it's like fast food. You go and you eat it at first, and you're like, dang, I'm stuffed. And 30 minutes later, you're like, I'm so hungry. That's how you get fat. Yeshron wax fat, Drake. Right? You just keep eating because what you're eating is nothing. What you're eating is empty. It's empty calories. It's just puffing you up. The stuff they're teaching you is just, I'm a Hebrew, and the Gentiles, I'm a Hebrew, and I'm a Hebrew. And you're nothing. You're empty. You're just fat. You're fat. You can't lift nothing big for nothing. Just big, puffed up Israel for nothing. Can't do nothing, can't read nothing, can't pick up nothing, can't study nothing. Famine. So you're hungry because you're malnourished. I don't know if you ever heard this, but extremely obese people, if you've like seen the people like 600-pound people, they're not actually fat because they're full. They're not eating because they're full. They're eating because they're starving to death. You're like, how are you starving to death and you're fat? There's no nutrients. The body's getting nothing. So when we take stuff into our bodies, a little brief thing, maybe it'll help you do a little better and help me do better. When you take food into your body, empty calories, right? The body is looking for protein. Body's looking for nutrients, for potassium. It's looking for the good stuff, right? When it can't find it, simple things, simple, complex carbs, right? Not just empty carbs. When you take this food into your body goes, oh, the brain needs this protein, right? And the brain needs these omega-3s and your heart needs this and your bowels need the fiber and, the potassium is for the muscle cramps. And it's literally sending triggers saying, okay, send this here, send this here. When you eat empty things, it goes into the body and the body goes, well, I don't know what to do with this. Make it fat. You eat something else, the body goes and it looks through and like a computer and it's analyzing what you have in your mouth. As soon as you put it in your mouth, the body's like, what's in this? Nothing. Make it fat. Make it fat. Make it fat. And so you just get fatter and fatter and fatter, but you're like, I'm so hungry. So you're eating buckets of chicken now. So that's what you're doing. You're online and you're just YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video, just binging because you're hungry. Somebody taught you something right. You'd have to sit on that thing for a minute. You'd have to get in your word and be like, now, what did he say? What did this person say? You don't have note the first. You're just like, yay. You're typing in the chat. You're just going. And you're just showing up for a party. Yeah. And then guess what? When you leave, next chat. Why? Because I'm chasing the next high. I'm chasing the next spike of my blood sugar. Chasing it. Just like the other nations out there worshiping false gods. And then when it comes down to it, and when the famine comes, you look back. Nothing in the storehouse. Look in the well of your heart. There's no water. There's nothing left. That's what's happening. Verse 12. And they shall wander from sea to sea. From sea. Sea is often synonymous with people, groups of people. right? So they're wandering from sea to sea, from group of people to group of people, from north even to east. Y'all going all over the place trying to find this next high. And they shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yah. So you're not telling nobody what you're really looking for. You probably don't know what you're looking for. Until you have taken a class on nutrition, you don't know why you're doing what you're doing. Till somebody points out to you that what you're doing is empty. And you just walk from more question to question. People bring me more questions. I'm like, you didn't come up with that because you was reading your Bible. You came up with that because you was watching somebody's YouTube channel. That's where you got that question. So you're seeking the word of Yah and you bring a question to question to question. And Yah's like, you're going to keep having questions till you read this word. Y'all don't get tired of me. I'm supposed to say, if you was reading your Bible, then we could talk. Then I can say, oh, okay, you got an avocado. Let me tell you how to season that avocado. But if you bring nothing but a question, I'm hungry. You're hungry because you have not been sowing in the field. You've not been plowing and laboring in the word. This is why you're hungry. And I tell you that, you get mad and go, I'm going to go to somebody that's going to give me a fruit snack. Okay, but you're going to still be hungry. You need a meal. You need food. You're hungry. Your body is dying. Your soul is literally thirsting. He says they shall seek to and fro the word of Yahuwah and shall not find it. In that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst. We got young people out here waiting for us to get it together. We have young people saying, oh man, they're fainting for thirst. So guess what? They'll drink dirty water. So you got young people running to ministries, giving them old stale water from Christianity and recalling it Hebrew. They took the bottle and took the label off and labeled it Hebrew. And then they're drinking it and they're getting sick. And the virgins, right? The fair virgins, they're turning them into whores. Women, you only good for sex. And young men, you thirsty. So yeah, y'all make a good little mix, huh? And let me just give him a warmed over glass of you're better than everybody else. And because you're a Hebrew and grow a beard, put some fringes on, I can rule your home. Don't know how, because you ain't told him how to do in the word. You gave him your understanding of it. Or you took him to some Christian book or some Christian video and told him what to do with it. They that swear by the sins of Samaria and say, thy Elohim, O Dan, liveth, and the manner of Beersheba liveth, even they shall fall and never rise up again. And it says, and I saw, it goes on, he's not done. And I saw Yahuwah standing upon the altar. Y'all standing up on the altar. He like, somebody come look at this. Right? Standing upon the altar, and he said, smite the lintel of the door. Passover. Smite the lintel of the door that the post may shake. He said, hit them hard. And he says, and cut them in the head, all of them. And I will slay the last of them with the sword. He that fleeth of them shall not flee away, and he that escapeth of them shall not be delivered. Though they dig into hell, thence shall mine hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence I will bring them down. He said, you can't get out of my hand, out of my reach. And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search them out thence. People doing this to y'all, this is what Yah is going to do. Don't get caught up with them, though. I will search and I will take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence I will command the serpent and he will bite them. And though they go into captivity, this us, can't deny it. So you're like, oh, it's talking about the Gentiles. No, though they go into captivity before their enemies, thence will I command the sword and I will slay them. And I will set my eyes upon them for evil and not for good. Is that not what happened to us? And Yahuwah of hosts is he that toucheth the land, and it shall melt. And all that dwell therein shall mourn, even y'all in Israel, everybody. And I will rise up wholly like a flood and shall be drowned as by the flood of Egypt. He says it again. It is he that buildeth his stories in heaven, and that hath founded his troop in the earth. He hath called for the waters of the sea and poured them upon the face of the earth. Yahuwah is his name. Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, saith Yahuwah? Have not I brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt? He's like, you got me question myself. Right? I got to ask you some things. And the Philistines from Caphtor, and the Syrians from Kir. Behold, the eyes of Elohim are upon the sinful kingdom. And I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saying that I will utterly destroy the house of Jacob. That's us. Sinful kingdom, us. Stop looking at other people. We have to look at us. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all the nations. Have not we been sifted amongst all the nations? Right? All, not just 12 tribe chart, all the nations. Like as corn is sifted in a sheaf, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. All the sinners of my people shall die, goodness gracious, by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. Y'all say, no, you're going to die. In that day will I rise up the tabernacle of David, though. That's why it all came together. You see where I'm right here. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen and close up the breaches thereof. Why is y'all so good to us? And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom. He's like, I'm going to bring it back around, though. All that judgment and all that. And he's like, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring it back around. Why? For the sake of the name, of the character of the man that we're going to read about today, right? Who is a direct representation of Hamashiach. For the sake of one that went before us, I'm going to do that thing. Do it. He says that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith Yahuwah that doeth this. Behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes him that soweth seed. And the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. Here we go, right? And I will bring again, so none of the monkeys gonna stop the ultimate show. They pause the show. They bring judgment and destruction upon themselves and people that follow after them. But Yah said, I'm going to do something. I'm going to do something for the remnant. I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. And they shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them. And I will plant them upon their land. And they shall no more be pulled out of their land, which I have given them, saith Yahuwah. See the famine? We're kind of in this space now. Can you feel that? The famine is because of how we have mishandled Yah's word. Just like a famine of the field is the same exact way, right? We're going to see something here. So let's keep going. We can actually start moving, right? I start moving into the text now. All right, let's get in. We know who the Gibeonites are. Let's hear what it says. And the king called the Gibeonites. So David goes and he gets the Gibeonites. We're back in 2 Samuel 21. You understand the famine. Now we got the famine in the spiritual. Now we're going to see the famine in the text. And we're going to bring the whole thing back around again. And the king called the Gibeonites and said unto them, now the Gibeonites were not of the children of Israel, like how that's in there, but of the remnant of the Amorites. And the children of Israel had sworn to them, and Saul sought to slay them in his zeal to the children of Israel and Judah. See how that's in there? It's right there. So I took you back. We already looked at that. So now it makes sense. Verse 3, wherefore David said unto the Gibeonites, what can I do for you? And how can I make the atonement that ye may bless the inheritance of Yahuwah? He's like, see, we did wrong, and we uncovered you. And there needs to be some covering. See, when we act in our ignorant zeal, we uncover. And Yah says, you got to cover that back up. You sought to shed blood, and you shed blood. And he's like, how can we make atonement? Because it's a famine in the land, and we all gonna die. How can we make atonement, kafar, right? And then we need you to bless us. We need you to bless us. And the Gibeonites said unto him, we will have no silver nor gold of Saul, nor of his house, neither for us shalt thou kill any man of Israel. We don't want nothing from you, Israel. And he said, what you say, we'll do. So well, then, what is it? And they answered the king, the man that consumed us, that devised against us, that we should be destroyed from remaining in the coast of Israel, let 7 men of his sons be delivered unto us, and we will hang them up unto Yahuwah in Gibeah of Saul, whom Yahuwah did choose. He said, Yah chose Saul. And Saul did this to us. And so what the ignorance of Saul has done is had an outside nation have a right to bring accusation against Yah. We don't realize that our interactions with one another require atonement. See, when we uncover each other, we give accusation for the outsiders to bring accusation against Yah. And the greatest accuser is Hasatan. He's like, look, they ain't even getting together. You show, so you coming back to get them? That's against everything you stand for. So you're going to go against your own word? You got the adversary in Yah's ear about us. You see them over there doing that, and you know that's not Torah, Yah. Guess they're going to be in captivity another 400 years. They can't seem to get it right. They over here uncovering each other, not loving. Accusation against Yah. That's what it means to take Yah's name in vain, right? You say you're Yah's, right? You say Yah chose him. So if Yah chose him and y'all made a covenant with us by Yah's name, and then you kill us under that same covenant, who is Yah then? Are you Yah? Well, it don't seem like you Yah because there's famine in hit. So Yah has to show himself then. Show himself in the chastisement of us, hence our current condition, right? Force us into atonement and restitution, into shalom, and then the destruction of our enemies. There's no way of circumventing that system. No way. Absolutely no way. So David goes, what you say we gonna do? And the king said, I will give them. Now I know people are like, wait, human sacrifice. You can't just kill somebody. You can't just kill those that are in covenant. Oh, now they're avengers of blood. You owe us life for life. You killed us, right? He's like, restitution. Blood has been shed, and there's discord in the land now. Got to do something about it. And we don't want money. We don't want gold. We good in covenant with Yah. Yah's been good. He can upheld this side. So we're coming to you and saying, why are you not keeping Torah like you say you do? And then Yah is like, yeah, famine. Ask them why they don't keep Torah like they say they do. So Yah's like, shh, famine of the word. Right now, everybody's like, didn't y'all said y'all keep Torah? Why don't keep Torah like y'all say you do? Shh, famine of the word. Everybody just blowing hot air. What are we going to do? We're going to be like David. I'm with being like David. So he said, I'll give them. But the king spared Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul. We're going to see in this text that there are names that are similar. Okay, I just want to point that out because you're going to see two Mephibosheths. The text does the talking and it tells you that who is. Okay, so, but the king spared Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, because of Yahuwah's oath that was between them. Between who? Between David and Jonathan, the son of Saul. So you see that David's like, I'm a man of my word. He wants 7 sons. Can't give you this one because I have an oath. David understand it was an oath of Yahuwah. So you see these oaths come back up. Okay. But the king took the 2 sons of Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, whom she bare unto Saul, Armoni or Ammoni, and Mephibosheth. So she had 2 sons that she bare. Okay. And the 5 sons of Michal, the daughter of Saul, whom she brought up for Adriel, the son of Barzillai, the Maholathite. And this is interesting because you have Michal here, and we know that Merab is the one that married Adriel. So some people say it's a scribal error. It could be a couple of things. We're not really told in the text. This could have been children that Michal raised for her sister. You know how you got aunties where they just like your mama, where they're dear to this person. So Michal may have been used in the text. to show that she had a particular affection for these children too, right? So it shows that David wasn't holding back nothing. We get Barzillai. Barzillai is the same the same guy in the past text who brought up offering. But these people, right, are connected to Saul's house. Everybody gets hurt when covenants are broken. Everybody has to lose something. Everybody has to give up something. Everybody has to give up some pride and some ego when it happens. Everybody, if the sacrifice is a national sacrifice, it's not just, oh, that's between y'all. No. It became our business when it was everybody's business, right? So you have these children. Now, you don't think Michal was like, hey, you already put me aside. You already left me without heirs, and then you're going to take my nephews? And then you got Barzillai, like, dude, I'm the one that brought provision out in the wilderness, and these are my grandchildren, right? Meholathite, right? Meholim is an area within the territory of Benjamin. So you have a lot of connectedness. We're not a disjointed people. We can act like we're separate, and we can act like your ministry is your ministry and your thing is your thing, and over here we're doing this. But what happens within the nation affects everybody. Y'all don't get it. We are literally cousins, not like play cousins. Like, oh yeah, we just like, I see, hey, cuz, they says. Like, no. If we're the 12 tribes and we are these people, our children are related. Our children are cousins. You are my child's auntie and uncle. And some of y'all some wicked aunties and uncles and some wicked cousins and distant cousins, for real. Like, you can't spend the night at their house. You know how we do, right? But it affects us all. Everybody lost something here. It wasn't like it was just Benjamin who lost. It wasn't just Saul of Gibea's household that lost. Everybody's interconnected and intermarried in. Everybody felt something. And he delivered them into the hands of the Gibeonites, but it had to be done. What are we going to do? Die? Everybody's going to die because a few of y'all can't get it right because of the sin of a couple? No, he handed them over. See, some have to be given over for the whole. And if you don't agree with that, let's look at Psalm 69 and 27. It says, and add iniquity unto their iniquity, and let them not come in unto the righteousness, and let them be blotted out of the book of the living, and not be written with the righteousness. What you gonna do with that? Blotted out of the book. Some that are causing the issue, like, yeah, you part, you got the lineage, but blot, out. You're out. You are out because, see, you can't be written in with righteous. You got unrighteousness. Let's look at 2 Thessalonians. And we're going to look at chapter 2. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Master Yahushua HaMashiach, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letters as from us, as that the day of Hamashiach is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. That's one great man, but we see it within, in small. You had Judas, right? Within the group. Now you're going to see it within the group, and then you're going to see the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called Elohim, or that is worship, so that he as Yah, he calls him like as Yah, sitteth in the temple of Elohim, showing himself that he is Elohim. Remember ye not that when I was with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth work already. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom Yah shall consume. He says, they take them out of the way, right? He says, and then that wicked shall be revealed, whom Yahuwah shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Hasatan, with all power. Oh, not a little bit of power. With all power, you're going to have signs. They're going to be healing and praying, signs and lying wonders. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause, Elohim shall send them strong delusion. Y'all thinking about the people out here getting ready to keep Easter? Womp, womp, womp. That's not it. That's not strong delusion. That's what more is it? Third grade research, right? That's not strong delusion. You can Google whether or not you should be worshiping Baal and Ashtaroth. The strong delusion is what's happening within the house of Israel. That they should believe the truth. Nope. That they should believe a lie. Hasatan wants you to come into Torah. Chess moves. 4 moves ahead, 8 moves ahead. I want you to walk into this trap. I want you to walk in Torah. I want you to find out who you are. I want you to be without excuse. I want you to learn Hebrew. I want you to follow after these teachers. I want you to do it so bad. I'm not hiding that from you. That's a part of the gig. I want you to think that I don't want you to come in Torah. No, I need you to come into Torah. I beg you to come into Torah, because once you turn away when you're in Torah, there's no hope for you and your mind. Please come into Torah. Please do it. And then get with one of these raggedy, lying, deceitful teachers that are going to send you straight to hell. Always like, please do it. I'm going to give you my best. I'm going to raise up some of the best teachers to send you straight to hell. That they may, verse 12, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure. You're gonna have fun in Torah doing unrighteousness. You're gonna actually think you're serving Yah. You will not surely die if you sow discord. You will not surely die if you fleece the sheep of Israel. You will not surely die if you lie to them. And if you found out something is true and you won't tell them. You will not surely die if you don't deal with your pride and your puffed upness. You will not surely die if you turn away other nations. You will not surely die if you break your covenant with people. No. Feel good about it. Feel righteous and go to hell. Exactly what's happening. All right, and if you think I'm just making it all up, let's go to Romans. Let's go to Romans. Chapter 1, he starts off, like you can't really miss it. And Paul is speaking. Let's just read it. What, you have time, right? You're prepping for the Shabbat. Hopefully you're in the grocery store with the AirPod in or something. Paul, a servant of Yahushua HaMashiach, called to be an apostle, separated unto the gospel of Elohim, which he had promised afore by his prophets in the Holy Scriptures. You can't say Paul is teaching against Torah when he starts off his book saying, I'm actually preaching what was prophesied to the prophets in the Holy Scriptures, in Torah. All right, verse 3, concerning his son, Yahushua HaMashiach, our master, which was made of the seed of David according to the flesh, and declared to be the son of Elohim with power according to the spirit of holiness by the resurrection from the dead, by whom we have received grace and apostleship for obedience to the faith among all nations for his name, among whom are ye also the called of Yahushua HaMashiach, to all that be in Rome, beloved of Elohim, called to be saints, grace be to you and peace from Elohim, our Father, and our Master, Yahushua HaMashiach. That's just the intro. First, if you ever have problems reading Paul, it's because you probably just have problems reading, because he literally lays it out. Opening statement, first. So this is what's going to be first. I thank my Elohim through Yahushua HaMashiach for you all, that your faith is spoken of throughout the whole world. If you just jumped in, you're like, why are we in Romans? But it says 2 Samuel. We're looking at those who are taken away and given up when there's a famine in the land. The restitution that has to be paid when we get off base. All right, so start again. First, I thank my Elohim through Yahushua HaMashiach for you all, that your faith is spoken of throughout the whole world, that your contentions are spoken of, that your fringes are spoken of, that your head wrap is spoken of, that your arguments and your ability to debate and make videos about people are spoken of. Goodness gracious alive. We don't have YouTube for any of those reasons. The YouTube is so that our faith can be proclaimed throughout the world. It's not for our contentions to be proclaimed throughout the world. Oh, sweet mother of pearls. Maybe we have it wrong again. For Elohim is my witness, whom I serve with my spirit in the gospel of his son, that without ceasing I make mention of you always in my prayers. Wait, we pray for each other? Wow. Okay. Making requests, if by any means now at length I might have a prosperous journey by the will of Elohim to come to you. I just want to see you, lay eyes on you. For I long to see you, that I may impart to you some spiritual gift. Oh, it's not for them to just come and see how great we are. Oh, we want to actually give them something. We're supposed to be, whoa, we're supposed to be giving something to the people, to the end that she may be established. That's a play on words. Emunah, faith, established, faith. I need your faith to be strong so that this can be proclaimed throughout the whole world. Verse 12, that is, that I may be comforted together with you, by the mutual faith, both you and me, not just by my faith. Please don't be comforted by just my faith. I need you to have the faith. I don't need you coming to me. We need to walk side by side. We need to be brethren in this. I need you to be equal to me, because if we're on a battlefield and I'm the only one holding the gun, I'm gonna get got, and you too. We have to be on one accord. Equal, mutual faith, not mutual faith, mutual faith. Get it? All right. Now, I would not have you ignorant, brethren, that oftentimes I purpose to come to you, but was let hitherto, that I might have some fruit among you also, even as among the Gentiles. I am no debtor both to the Greeks and to the barbarians, both to the wise and I am debtor both to the Greeks and to the barbarians, both to the wise and to the unwise. So as much as in me is, I am ready to preach the gospel to you that are at Rome also. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Hamashiach, for it is the power of Elohim unto salvation to everyone that believeth. To the Yehudim first, not only first. You got to read. To the Yehudim first, and also to the Greek. For therein is the righteousness of Elohim revealed from, here we are again, faith to faith, as is written, the just shall live by faith. For the wrath of Elohim is revealed from Shamayim against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men. Not just the Gentiles' unrighteousness and ungodliness. All. Like, oh, because you're Hebrew, you kind of get away with unrighteousness. You can kind of circumvent the law. No. We hold the truth in unrighteousness, because that which may be known of Elohim is manifest in them. For Elohim hath showed it unto them. Oh, y'all know. You're not doing this ignorantly. It's been made. You can't fake something without knowing. You can't counterfeit something till you've seen the real thing. All right. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made. Everybody says this, but they don't ever know. Right? For the things that are made, by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Yahid, so that they are without excuse. Amos said, y'all said, I'm not passing over no more. Y'all not ignorant no more. You know what it is. Because that when they knew Yah, they glorified him not as Yah, neither were thankful. Man, you get in trouble for being ungrateful. Ain't that something? I done woke you up. I done told you who you are. And you got the nerve to fight each other? You got the nerve to be self-righteous. Oh, you got the nerve to do things your own way? Oh my, you're ungrateful. but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. I done took y'all out of Egypt. I'm going to bring it back to this day. I done took you out of Egypt. I done subdued your enemies. And these Gibeonites came, and they were like, man, we scared. We're scared of what Yah is doing. So we know that safety is in the house. So yeah, we got in the house sideways, okay. But our intentions were pure, and we ain't really caused y'all much trouble since then. And then for zeal, you get a puffed up king, head and shoulders, tall and puffed up above me. And he's like, let's kill the Gibeonites. Yeah, let's do that. And Yah was like, I got the final say on everything. Here's a famine for 3 years. I will starve you to death. He said, oh, your own imagination, your foolish heart. One king, one following one will get you all messed up. In like manner, us today. He said, because their imagination, their foolish heart was darkening, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools and changed the glory of the uncorruptible Elohim into an image made like to corruptible man. See, we don't see that. We don't see that being us. Oh no, that's the Gentile doing it right now. You make man your God. Anyways, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. Wherefore Elohim also gave them up to uncleanliness, to the lusts of their own hearts. His secret sin. To dishonor their own bodies between themselves. Oh, we can have concubines now. Oh, yeah. So we change the truth of Elohim into a lie. It looks stupid to the world now. You're doing stuff worse than the devil. And worship and serve the creature more than the creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. Here we go. My key verse is verse 28. For this cause, Elohim gave them up to vile affections. And everybody goes in this like, oh, he's talking about homosexuals. Bump your brakes. All right, you too. Okay, so for this cause, Elohim gave them up to vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use into that which was against nature. Why? Because y'all be lying. Y'all got women confused now, like, oh, I don't even want to be a woman because being a woman is oppressed. Okay, I want to be a man then. You got young women who don't want to be girls because of how the world treats women. And then you got young men not want to be men. It's ridiculous. And it's all because you change the truth to a lie so that you can control people. And he says, and likewise, also the men leaving the natural use of a woman. Like, what do I need to be a woman for? Why do I have to do anything in Torah? When y'all can break a little bit, why can't I break it all? I hear the young people of just this generation. I know it's not right. I know it's not Torah, but I hear what they say when they come at religious people and they say, you call me an abomination, but y'all eat pork. You call me an abomination, but y'all got idols. And I don't understand why for the life of me. And this is mainly now, I guess, maybe a Christian thing, but I know some of y'all Hebrews operate in the same type of double standard as well. Why for the life of me, the Christian church wouldn't say, you know what? You're right. Let me leave you with that excuse. No more pork, no more Christmas, no more Easter. Now what? But because they don't want to give up their abominations, they just say, well, I guess we'll just let the gays in too. Right? Because you change the truth into a lie. And you're not willing to give up your lie, so you're not going to make them give up theirs. So let's just both go to hell then. Men leaving their lateral use, burn in their lust toward one another, men with men working that which is unseemly and receiving in themselves the recompense of their error, which was meat. And even as they did not like to retain Elohim in their image, in their knowledge. Retain, meaning you knew, you put it out your mind so you could do what you wanted to do. Elohim gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which were not convenient. It wasn't convenient. It wasn't easy for you when you were doing it. Tell the truth. You wasn't having a great time. You was conflicted, and you're still conflicted, and you got to do all this extra just to be disobedient. He's like, no, it wasn't convenient. Being filled with all unrighteousness. Now this y'all, this is y'all's. This is everybody, all of us together now with unrighteousness, fornication. So he's like, I'm lumping what they're doing, their abomination that y'all say, oh, that's disgusting. Oh, that's so nasty. I can't believe it. He's like, wait, time out. You're in here too, semicolon, verse 29, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness. Oh, maliciousness is likened to the same abomination. Why? Because it sows discord amongst the brethren. He already told you I hate it. He already told you he did. Full of envy, murder, debate. Wow. Arguing, deceit, malignity, whisperers. Y'all whisperers in here too. Backbiters, haters of Elohim, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents. I was like, oh, you think I'm only after the gays? You better sat down somewhere. All y'all is an abomination to me with your wicked practices. Without understanding, not having understanding, it is the same paragraph. Covenant breakers. Without natural affection. Y'all don't even know how to love each other, right? You so broken down and disenfranchised. You don't even have the natural affection a human has for a human. You don't even have common courtesy. He said, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment, y'all know better, of Elohim, that which they commit such things are worthy of death. All this stuff is worthy of death. You're going to just say, oh, homosexuality is worthy of death. There's a huge chunk of other things worthy of death too, right in the middle. Not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. You do the same as them. And then you sit around and puff yourself up and act like you're right. Yeah, I was like, not today. Not today. Therefore, verse 1 of chapter 2, I'm just going to just hop over here for a second. You are inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art that judges, for wherein thou judges another, you condemn yourself. For you that judge do the same things. I'm just going to end it right there. Right there. All right. What Yah is saying, he's like, you guys, there's a strong delusion when you go with your own zeal and you forget Yah's law and Yah's Torah. You done killed up these people in the name of Yah. And Yah's like, I won't stand for it. I won't stand for it. So David does something very interesting. He says, purge out, just like Torah says, purge out wickedness from Israel. Purge it out. Do what you got to do. You know what you got to do? Get them out of here. As much as David has refrained from up until this point, putting a finger to Israel, he's like, at this point, it's gone too far. We're too close to the end. We're too close to being one. And if it means that some of y'all got to go, you know what? Some of y'all got to go. Yes and amen. And he delivered them, verse 9, into the hands of the Gibeonites, and they hanged them in the hill before Yahuwah. This was pleasing to Yah. And they fell all 7 together and were put to death in the days of harvest. I told you it all come around. In the days of harvest, Keats, right? In the days of harvest, in the first days, right? In the beginning of the barley harvest. So Hebrews, we got to know our feast. We got to know our harvest, barley harvest. It's not just the latter barley harvest, but he does it couple in the first days, right? It's like in the first days, in the days of harvest, at the beginning of the barley harvest, not in the latter harvest. And he's like, oh, okay, Ketsier is the word. And he's like, it's right in that time. It's right during this particular time, in these days, when we should have been waving our first fruits, showing that Yah has blessed us. Listen, a famine, we don't have nothing to wave. Yah was like, wave the wicked. If you have nothing to bring restitution and purge evil out of the house of Israel. Wave the unrighteous then. I've taken away everything else, because as long as y'all still waving, you're not going to deal with what's really causing the issue. He was like, I don't want your offering. I want y'all to make it right with each other. I want peace in my land. Don't wave nothing to me and there's not peace. You keep waving and I keep pointing to you and prodding you and pricking you and telling you there's something wrong in Israel. And so because you cannot see that there's something wrong, I'm going to bring a famine. And since y'all couldn't see it in 2 Samuel, then he told Amos to tell us, I'm going to bring a famine of the word. I'm going to stop talking. Everybody's going to be loud and I'm going to be sitting silent. There's a thing we do in preschool. I taught preschool before, and the kids, preschool kids, they get loud, but they love your attention. So it's so cool. Like they want your attention, but they don't know how to calm down. And so we've been reading a story, and you're like, and now, and then you bring your voice really low. And they're running around a bit, and they all stop. They're like, because they can hear you in the background. They can hear you, but they're just deciding that they want to run around right now. I'm not getting ready to get up and pick up 30 preschoolers. I'm just going to be quiet. And we do this, we say, I'll wait. Okay, Billy, are you ready to listen? I like how Josie is over there sitting nicely. And I like how Bobby has caught a bubble. Are you guys ready? And they sit down and they calm their bodies. And then you speak. Yeah, it's like, you heard me in the background. You run around acting a fool. You heard me. But you're going to keep running around because you know I'm still present. So let me do something. I'll wait. Huldah, do you hear me? Drake, I like how you're sitting nicely. Lauren, I like how you've caught a bubble. May I continue? That's where we are. He's like, all this waving, y'all waving, and I'm in the background. Y'all got your music on, and I'm the background noise. Bring y'all's voice to the forefront, please. Let y'all speak. He don't want to hear your song because your song comes out of an unrighteous heart. He don't want to hear you dancing and hopping and all your. No. I'll wait. He delivered them up in the days of harvest. He harvested them in the days of harvest. He harvested the unrighteous and the wicked in the days of harvest. He put to death in the days of harvest when the harvest was taken from the proud and the fake and the self-proclaimed. The true barley is humble. True barley is like, oh, we don't, we all got to come under the sickle, but not everything is going to make it through the threshing floor. All is gathered and brought to the threshing floor. Some Hebrews, though, see, Yah sometimes got to snatch some Hebrews before he's like, oh, let the wheat and the tare grow up together. He said, but some of y'all is some evasive and real poisonous. I can't even let y'all grow up together. I can't even wait till you get to the threshing floor. I'm going to snatch you up real quick, like Korah and like these men. There's some Yah is going to snatch. Just as an example, he's going to pluck them up so he can stop the famine that they are causing. We hungry. We talked about this before. You're hungry and thirsty and weary in the wilderness. We're hungry. And you know what hungry people do? Hungry people resort to some interesting things. And Yah's like, look, I'm not trying to get you so hungry that you sin against me. I'm trying to get your leadership to stop, to sit down and stop talking and hear what I have to say. Stop trying to watch the news and see what Yah's what is he saying about COVID? What is he saying in his word? And if he shoves something to the back of your throat, then you're going to, and then 5G and you're like, I can't survive on 5G. 5G is cotton candy. 5G is not going to get me. Your 5G message and your vaccine message, that's easy money. Y'all do your research. You don't need somebody to wait 6 hours and make a message for 6 hours about that. Read the word. Because you can not get the vaccine and still go to hell, Yeah, you heard it here first. You cannot get the vaccine and still go to hell with the mark of the beast. It's here. It's what you do. It's what you think. It's your heart. It's the condition of your heart. You vaccinated, if you will, in those places. I'm not saying to do anything. That's not my point. So don't say, oh, Huldah said that's not, because of censorship. I'll say this, do your research. and don't. They didn't put it like that. Can't put it like that. Do your research and don't. Then you apply that where it needs to be, put it in context. But what I'm saying is you need to be refined and barricaded. You got EMF emitting jackets and stuff, and your heart is getting penetrated by wicked teachers. Come on. You cannot use a cell phone and hide in a hole and you're going to still go to hell. The issue is not the outward things. Those things just prove you. You shouldn't be addicted and attached to anything. The issue is the condition of your heart. The issue is you. Everybody's trying to look at everything else. Why is there a famine? Is this because of David? Is this because of this? It was like, let me go ask Yah. Yah was like, Saul. He was like, Saul, that was so long ago. He was like, I haven't forgot. Yah doesn't forget. The nations think Yah forgot too. The only reason why we're not even experiencing a lot of the blessing that we're supposed to be experiencing is because of us. Yah is doing everything in our favor right now. COVID, y'all getting stimulus checks, everything. You got time to sit at home and read the Bible with your children. You got time to plant a garden. You got time to raise animals. Like literally, this is happening. Yah is like a break in a space and time in Shamayim, and then the fourth seal was opened. Like, come on. Like literally, we're watching it. Some of y'all haven't been sick in a year. Some of y'all was catching cold after cold after cold, going to work and taking time off, and your children were sick. Y'all healthy. Ain't done nothing with your health. Just sat around and got fat. Just waxed fat. Just taking in a bunch of emptiness. Empty food because you got a little extra money, right? And empty word because you got time to spend on YouTube and no time in Yah's word. I'm just saying what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm not guilty. I'm just saying check ourselves. It was a quick check for me. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be in COVID. Last year, we was like, oh, change up soon as COVID happened. This is how we're keeping Shabbat. This is how we're not going to be in a rush. This is how it was like ding, ding, ding. A bell went off. Like you have time. And what are you going to do with your time? Time is the most precious commodity. And y'all been squandering your time. Haven't got no more closer to Yah, more confused and watch more videos further off than you were before it started. Be accountable for how you handled Yah's word and how you handled the time he gave you. And Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, took sackcloth and spread it for her upon the rock from the beginning of the harvest until water dropped upon them out of Shamayim, and suffered neither the birds of the air to rest on them by day, nor the beasts of the field by night. And it was told David that Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, the concubine of Saul, had what she had done. And David went and took the bones of Saul and the bones of Jonathan, his son, from the men of Jabesh Gilead, which had stolen them from the street of Bethshan, where the Philistines had hanged them, when the Philistines had slain Saul in Gilboa. And he brought up from thence the bones of Saul and the bones of Jonathan his son, and they gathered the bones of them that were hanged. And the bones of Saul and Jonathan his son buried they in the country of Benjamin in Zelah, in the sepulchre of Kish his father. And they performed all that the king commanded. And after that, Elohim was entreated for the land. Some steps. Some steps had to take place. Some things had to be put back in order. You got dead bodies not in their graves. You got issues uncovered. You got skeletons in the closet. We got all this stuff going on. And Yah is like, you got some work to do before I can move forward. Now, the beauty of this and the reason why I'm going to continue forward, I know we've gone long, is because I can't end here. Yes, Yah was entreated for the land, but what was Yah trying to do for Israel? What was he trying to do for them? Why did he come right now with this? Why did he come with this earlier? Right? One, he don't put more as we can bear. Could you imagine this, a famine, and then everything was happening with David? Talk about an overkill of just like, talk about just overwhelming, not just like overkill for Yah can do what he wants, but how that would have felt. It would have been like, it's just too much. It's too much. It's too much upon me. I can't take this. He's not trying to put too much. He's like, we're going to work through some of these things. He's patient. He's patient. But when he's ready and he's like, all right, wrap it up. I got some stuff I need to do. You need to fix this. David felt it. His heart was pricked. He was prompted. He was like, got to get this thing done. So you have Yah entreated. Now look what's getting ready to happen. See, we couldn't have foreseen what's going to happen in verse 15. The last 6 verses, something interesting happens. The Philistines was hot on their trail. Yah was like, if y'all don't get this right, I can't fight for you. If y'all got issues in the land, I can't fight for you. How can I fight for you? Yah sees the Philistines coming to get ready to vex Israel again. So he's like, how can I get their attention? All right, famine. I gotta do what I gotta do. Because if I don't cause this famine in the land, you're gonna be destroyed by the Philistines because you're not right with me. I can't fight for you when you have blood guilt on you as a nation. How? So he's like, I gotta get your attention. Nobody's asking about me. Nobody's inquiring of me. How am I gonna get your attention? I'm gonna get your attention with your food. Same way that, I mean, sadly, Absalom got Joab's attention by setting this field on fire, right? Y'all was like, you're not gonna have a field. How about that? I'm going to righteously get your attention. And I'm going to show you something. And I'm going to show you not to overlook this. Don't overlook this like you overlooked and let Amnon slide. Amnon and Absalom. Don't do that. Handle this. And while it may have hurt David, he handled that. He did that thing. He did that thing. All right. So Philistines are coming. They didn't see that one coming. That's a Yah level thing. Verse 15, moreover, the Philistines had yet war again with Israel. And David went down, his servants with him, and fought against the Philistines. And David waxed faint. David getting old. It's a lot. It's a lot on the body. War is a lot on the body. It's a lot on the mind. It's a lot on the body. It's on the heart. And he had done it over and over again. And Yah was like, this is not what I have for you to do right now. I'm handling something. I'm doing something. I got this. And Ishbi Benob, which was one of the sons of the giants. See, these they ain't got rid of all of them yet. You still got Gath's children around, right? You still got Goliath cousins and sons hanging out. He says, one of the sons of the giants, the weight of whose spear was weighed 300 shekels of brass in weight. He being girded with a new sword, thought to have David slain. See, I'm gonna keep reading. I'm gonna go back to this. But Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, succored him. It literally means that he distracted him and was like, hey man, over here, fight me, kill me. And he smote the Philistine and killed him. Then the men of David swear unto him. And it didn't say they swear unto him. It said it made David swear unto them, saying, thou shalt not go no more out with us to battle, that thou quench not the light of Israel. It's a cold line right there. They made David swear that he would not come out to battle so that the light of Israel would not be extinguished. They're coming for your head, Akoti. They want to take you out to kill the fire that Yah has lit in Israel. He came out with a new sword just for David. They didn't want anybody else. They were going to double team David like Steph Curry. So, in a basketball game, right, when you got a really good player and a team is like, okay, if we just shut down this one player, then guess what? We win the whole battle. He came up with a new sword. He said, make me a new sword because I'm going to kill David with I don't even want an old sword for this. I'm gonna honor him enough to not kill him with the sword that I killed anybody else with. And give me a good, heavy spear. He's not going to make it out today. See, the adversary has plotted and planned on us, Israel. He's like, you think you're going to stop this? You think I'm going to let you keep them from going to these false teachers? They're my teachers. They're my prophets. Those are my priests. Those are mine. I got something for you. I'm gonna get a big giant. A big sword. I'm gonna try to make you afraid. Why? Because I'm gonna try to smite the shepherd so that the sheep scatter. And I'm gonna do it in a way so that I quench the fire that has been lit in Israel. Like, look, they out here, they on one accord. Oh, you think you good? Adversaries like, oh, Philistines, get them. And David is out there, and they want him. Literally, it said he had to literally lead him away. That they were literally like their whole battle formation at that time was against David. Because see, they misunderstood. See, David is just a representation of the glory of Yah that was in Israel. But because David has now helped make Israel one, you can move David out the way. You can't stop nothing. So they said, hey, don't come out here no more. We don't want to quench the light of Israel. See, the people still see you, right, as the figurehead. But what we know is you done trained us well. We don't need you to come out here. We got this. We got this. You keep gathering the gold and the jewels and all the stuff that's going to be needed for the one who's going to build the temple. That's your job. Out here, though, we'll handle this light work because Yah's with us. And it said, I wrote down, see, they thought if they shut down David, then the whole team would be in trouble. When one person is allowed to be the mark, we have an issue. But see, when you have true soldiers, your squad realizes it's bigger than you. It's about all of us, everybody, right? It's time, Israel, it's time to find your tribe. Not I'm Judah. Yeah, okay. Y'all work all that out in the kingdom. You're going to make all that right. Find your tribe. And there's a little quote that says, find your tribe and love them hard. Cover them hard. Why? Because David had taught them well, and it was true. And it was time. He taught them the truth, and it was time to allow them to walk out their call. Their call. And they had gathered the wisdom and they had gathered the understanding. See, they didn't have to be micromanaged. They got it. They saw it. They saw how David walked in front of Saul. They saw how David saw how they went with him when Absalom was against him. They saw it all. And he's like, you know what? You're right. You're right. I'm not coming out to this battle anymore. Yah is with all of us now. And they saw what was most important, that he loved Israel, and they began to love Israel like him. And it came to pass after this that there was again battle with the Philistines at Gob. Then Shebachai, the Hushite, slay Saph, which is one of the sons of the giants, another giant down. Boom, he's hidden. I mean, Yah is hitting the Philistines hard, right? And there was again battle in Gob with the Philistines, where Elkanah, the son of Yareh or Regim. It's funny because his name actually means a weaver's beam. You can't see it in English, but a Bethlehemite slew the brother of Goliath the Gittite, the staff of whose spear was, guess what? A weaver's beam. I thought this was really interesting in the text. And there was yet battle in Gath. So they come up, it's like one after another, right? But when you're fortified, it don't matter when the hits come. It's like, I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this. The adversary tries to come 3 times. I'm gonna give you guys the end game for this. David, eventually, we see it here, all of David's enemies are put to rest. So that when Solomon becomes king, we'll see a little more riff and a couple other things. When Solomon becomes king, there's no fighting for him. There's just worship for Solomon. All Solomon had to do was lead Israel in worship with his eccentric self, right? That was it. Built this fly temple, this fly tabernacle, right? And show them do it after the pattern, and have a place for them to come and worship and to sacrifice. That was it. Yah had subdued all of David's enemies. That's literally what Solomon speaks about that. He's like, you subdued all my father's enemies. And the last little inside riff, David was like, get them too. And it was it. That was like, he left Solomon in a place of peace. It's like Hamashiach. Hamashiach did pay the penalty for sin and death. Why y'all still warring with sin and death? Why are we still doing that? He's like, y'all fighting battles I already fought. All you got to do is worship. I didn't ask you to go out and learn special forces training. You're not going to fight against the enemy. Get it out of your head. Your war is in your worship. It's in your obedience. It's in walking with me. They went out here and they killing giants. They thought only David could kill giants. I was like, I didn't pour it out in my spiritual gift now. Like Paul said, he's like, I want to impart to you some fast to be steadfast. David imparted it. Yah was like, don't trip. Go. Finish up the worship part for the one that's to come. I poured out a portion of what you got on them. The Philistines can't handle them. It's not just you. I didn't give it to them now too. So verse 20, and there was yet battle in Gath, and where was a man of great stature. So it's like, oh, now the last one is the biggest of all the three. This dude was so big, his hormones had him growing extra fingers and toes, right? It was like, if the first two wasn't scary, they're like, man, we got to call David for this one. No, they didn't say that. Like, we got this one too. He said he had 6, on every hand he had 6 fingers, and every toe 6 foot. Every foot 6 toes, and 4 and 20 in number. And he also was born to the giant. And when he defied Israel, look at that come around full circle. Remember, the first one was Goliath came out, defied Israel, and David stood up. Look how Yah raises up another one. And when he defied Israel, Jonathan, remember his brother's like, go home. Now his nephew, right? The son of Shimei, the brother of David, slew him. Look at the little nephew walking in his uncle's footsteps and brought down the big giant. Imagine how that makes Uncle King warrior feel. He's like, I can rest. Y'all done raised up the next generation. I've seen the raising up of the next ones who are going to defend Israel. I can focus on y'all now. These 4 were born to the giant in Gath, and fell by the hand of David. Look at this. David didn't have to kill him. David still get the credit. And by the hand of his servants. The victory was still honorably given to David, even though he was not there, because of his heart and his love for Yah. Yah in the end is like, all this comes all the way back around to when he was a little shepherd boy, little stones and a little sling. Reason why I'm ending with 22 is because my last note was, give Yah the praise. As he works things out, he is still in the midst. So you see the picture, David's not there, but they've learned from him. They're not afraid of their enemies anymore. They're not afraid of the giants. They're not afraid of what comes against Israel, right? And I have to read 22, and I'm just going to read straight through it because these are actually David's last words that he's going to speak in this book. And David's going to say what I just said. So I got to end with this, and then we're done. And David spake unto Yahuwah the words of this song in the day that Yahuwah had delivered him out of the hand of some of his enemies, all of his enemies, and out of the hand of Saul. And he said, Yahuwah is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer. The Elohim of my rock, in him will I trust. It's a psalm, not in Psalms. Got to read to find it. He is my shield and the horn of my salvation, my high tower and my refuge. My Savior, thou savest me from violence. I will call on Yahuwah, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from mine enemies. When the waves of death compassed me, the floods of ungodly men made me afraid. The sorrow of hell compassed about me. The snares of death prevented me. In my distress, I called upon Yahuwah, and I cried to my Elohim. And he did hear my voice out of his temple, and my cry did enter into his ears. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations of heaven moved and shook because he was wroth. There went up smoke out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also and came down. And darkness was under his feet. And he rode upon the cherub and did fly, and he was seen upon the wings of the wind. And he made darkness pavilions round about him, dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. Through the brightness before him were coals of fire kindled. Yahuwah thundered from heaven, and the Most High uttered his voice, and he sent out arrows and scattered them, lightning and discomfited them. And the channels of the sea appeared. The foundations of the world were discovered at the rebuking of Yahuwah. And the blast of the breath of his nostrils he sent from above, and he took me. He drew me out of many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemy and from them that hated me, for they were too strong for me. They prevented me in the day of my calamity, but Yahuwah was my stay. He brought me forth also into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. Yahuwah rewarded me according to my righteousness. According to the cleanness of my hands hath he recompensed me. For I have kept the ways of Yahuwah, and have not wickedly departed from my Elohim. For all his judgments were before me, and as for his statutes, I did not depart from them. I was also upright before him, and have kept myself from mine iniquity. Therefore, Yahuwah hath recompensed me according to thy righteousness, according to my cleanness in his eyesight. With the merciful, thou wilt show thyself merciful, and with the upright man, thou wilt show thyself upright. With the pure, thou wilt show thyself pure, and with the froward, thou wilt show thyself unsavory. And the afflicted people thou wilt save. But thine eyes are upon the haughty, that thou mayest bring them down. For thou art my lamp, O Yahuwah, and Yahuwah will lighten my darkness. For by thee I have run through a troop. By my Elohim have I leaped over a wall. As for Elohim, his way is perfect. The word of Yahuwah is tried. If y'all ain't seeing this yet, I don't know what to tell you. He is a buckler to all them that trust in him. For who is Elohim? Save Yahuwah. Elohim is my strength and power, and he maketh my way perfect. He maketh my feet like hinds' feet, and setteth me upon my high places. He teacheth my hands to war, so that a bow of steel is broken by mine arms. Thou hast also given me the shield of thy salvation, and the gentleness hath made me great, and thy gentleness hath made me great. Thou hast enlarged my steps under me, so that my feet did not slip. I have pursued mine enemies and destroyed them, and have turned not again until I have consumed them. And I have consumed them and wounded them, and they could not arise. Yea, they are fallen under my feet. For thou hast girded me with strength to battle. Them that rose up against me hast thou subdued under me. Thou hast also given me the necks of mine enemies, that I might destroy them that hate me. They looked, but there was none to save, even unto Yahuwah, but he answered them not. Then did I beat them as small as the dust of the earth. I did stamp them as the mire of the street, and did spread them abroad. Thou also hast delivered me from the strivings of my people. Thou hast kept me to be head of the heathen. A people which I knew not shall serve me. Strangers shall submit themselves unto me. As soon as they hear, they shall be obedient unto me. Strangers shall fade away, and they shall be afraid out of their close spaces. Yahuwah liveth, and blessed be my rock, and exalted be the Elohim of the rock of my salvation. It is Elohim that avengeth me, and that bringeth down the people under me, and that bringeth me forth from mine enemies. Thou also hast lifted me up on high above them that rose up against me. Thou hast delivered me from the violent man. Therefore I will give thanks unto thee, O Yahuwah, among the heathen, and I will sing praises unto thy name. He is the tower of salvation for his king, and showeth mercy to his anointed, unto David, and to his seeds forever, and to his seed forevermore. If you didn't see it, this is what a lot of people, I know tomorrow is not to bring a downer to what was said, but tomorrow everybody in the world is going to celebrate Easter, or what they call Resurrection Sunday. And it's interesting because we who have been disenfranchised on both sides I don't think we've seen this parallel. This is literally what happened with Hamashiach. The earth shook, the veil rent, sun was made dark. This is a messianic prophecy, and it's the last words spoken by David. And it's not in the psalm. It's in his story. And he literally speaks his heart. And the last thing on his mind is the Savior that's coming. He says, this that you have done, Yah, you're going to do this. All this last part among the heathen, and a salvation and a tower, and unto his seed forever. When we just bring it back around full circle, and I'll let you go. In Amos, he stated that. He said, I'm going to raise up the waste places that of David. All that was broken down, I'm going to do that. I'm going to handle that part. And I'm going to bring everything around full circle for my glory unto his seed, right? Forevermore. That's what Yah's going to do. We have work to do, though. We have to stop the famine. We have to stand true in our covenants, right? And we have to make sure that our righteousness is the first fruits. All right, we're going to pray and then we're out. We're out. Thank you guys for hanging out with us this Shabbat. Well, leading into the Shabbat. For some of you, you're heading in. We still have much prep time here, about 5 hours left. Thank you for hanging in there. I know it was long. I hope you can split it up if you don't have time into pieces, but truly see the heart of Yah. That's where we are right now. We're in a place of humility, of bowed down. We have been humbled as a nation, and we need to hear Yah. Hear his voice, hear his word, and to stand true and to stand firm on that. Abba Yah, we thank you for allowing us to walk through your word today. I pray that what you showed me was made plain to your people. I pray that as we sit in this time with loud voices and a lot of outside influence and stimulation, that your word and your words are true and they're heard from the text that you have given us that holds our history to the voices of your true teachers. I ask, Yah, that if you shut up the mouths of those of us that are called to speak, that you will still be heard amongst your remnant. Yah, we are your servants and we do as you say. And if you have prophesied that there will be a famine, Yah, we know that you have always made provision. And I pray that those of us who are true to your word and want the healing of your nation, Yah, that you will cause us to cleave tight to you in all things and in all ways. Yah, I ask that you will be what only you can be to your people, that none of us stand in the gap and get your glory, but that everything we do is to add to, not that we can, but to add to the glory that should be seen in you, that our unity and our love is our testimony and not our disputes and our brokenness. Yah, we come right now asking for your Sabbath rest. Ask that we prepare and that as we enter into this season of first fruits and the season of Passover and the season of your feast and the renewal of the land, that we also be made new, that we lean in, that we cleave tight to you because you are salvation. You are the only one that can redeem us. You only have come down in the cloud and have done the work of dismantling the shackles that have been on our minds for all this time. And we have to walk circumspect to you. We must. We ask that you will be what only you can be to us, Yah. And that you will keep all workers of iniquity away from us. And that you will execute your judgment perfectly in your time. And that as you are being patient and with your hand still outstretched, that we can be an insight and show people that you still love and that you still care and that you only want the best for us. We ask all these things in Yehoshua HaMashiach's name, in the name of your salvation, in you who is salvation, we ask these things. Hallelujah. Amen. Until next time, shalom.